Gasso. Go ahead and fire away, everybody.
You talk about wanting to see the response. I know you won't know until game time, but what's it been like these first couple days back on the field, back here in Norman?
Good. Before we even start the season, I preface it by saying we're going to lose games. So just, it's a learning experience. And it's amazing when we lose, everything starts to open up, and all the things that we just get away with are now brought to everybody's attention. So they do it themselves. They talk about how to get better and how we need to change and so forth. So some good things came from it. I'm anxious. I think a different kind of energy, and there's just that lingering pressure, I think, that is on. There's sometimes the overwhelming amount of people that want autographs and are there, and it gets smothering. That's no excuse, but it's constantly on your guard, and that's something that we just have to get used to. But our practices have been good, our adjustments have been good, the energy has been very good.
What did you think of your offense against Baylor? You faced the same Baylor staff last year, and the same pattern they kind of threw against you. Talk about that adjustment you're going to have to.
Yeah, I think we did it a little bit late. We looked like we were not ready for the pitching change. We did not have the right mindset at the plate. We came back. We made an effort to come back. They're always a feisty team. I'm not taking anything away from them. They earned that. They played harder. They hit better. They were timely. Their pitching was fantastic. They earned that. And we walk away knowing exactly what we need to do these last 2 days, which we did. So I'm anxious to see it play out again. But we came back and we worked specifically on some things offensively and with our swing and with our timing.
Speaking of your offense, Jocelyn had kind of a welcome to college softball weekend. Did you expect that sort of thing out of her early? Is that the kind of thing when you recruited her, you thought she might be capable of this at this point?
She's a good hitter. I mean, she can change the game. She definitely has a good, strong lefty swing, a good feel for the ball, things like that. I think as we get further on and elite pitching, she's going to see it look a little bit different. And a lot of our hitters felt that against Baylor. But we also felt it in the first week. Our first weekend, we faced some good pitching. So, the schedule is tough, and so I'm just telling you, don't you dare look at your numbers, nothing to look at there, because you can't even compare our schedule to what it was last year. So things are just different. The road is different, and the grind is different, and the learning curve has got to be fast, and that's what we're trying to do.
When you, there's obviously been a lot of attention on your transfer newcomers, but we haven't talked to you maybe as much about Jocelyn. What was it about her that you really liked and knew you wanted to have her on this roster?
Her size and her strength, and the fact that she was capable of being a good catcher. She could play first, she can move in the outfield. She's got a really good arm. And she played on a good travel ball team that I knew she was going to get better with. So all of those things, I knew that she would find a place eventually. I wasn't sure she would be ready for this level of pitching, but she's proved me wrong thus far.
What did you think of Jordy's performance over the weekend?
I thought it was good. I thought it was just a little more settled, a little more Jordy-like. I think everybody's looking for the dominant, where's Jordy? Look, any freshmen have great years. They go into their sophomore year and it's different because who knows what they're thinking. Are they trying to match it? Jocelyn, Aloe, some of my greatest players have gone through, trying to find themselves their sophomore year. And Jordy is making really good progress, and I thought she threw well enough against Baylor for a win. It was just that one untimely hit that cleared the bases for him. So I think she's on the right path.
Wasn't that a good pitch too? I mean, the hitter just was better on that pitch. I mean, that was not a
Yeah,
bad pitch,
it
was
was. I mean, Jordy had got her earlier with, off-speed stuff. So, I mean, it's just, sometimes that happens. So I thought overall she threw pretty well.
I wanted to ask you about Nicole May. You talked in the preseason about her leaps during the off season. Have you seen it more physically, the way she's throwing the ball, or is it more mental, just her mental approach to the game?
I think both, but physically she feels good, and I know her knee was nagging her a bit last year, but she looks so much more healthy, confident, in control. We were going to throw Nicole. I really wanted, this is my way I'm thinking, is like, I know we're gonna see Baylor 3 more times, so let us try to get Jordy on the mound, let her continue to work on things, and not like, oh gosh, what if we lose? I'm going in expecting to win, but right now I think Jordy needs more innings to fine tune a few things than anybody else. So Nicole May is still in the driver's seat, doing very well. Everything about her is confident, and I know we'll get the job done. So you'll see Nicole May a lot this weekend.
Patty, when you have a loss like last Sunday, how much does it help to go into this event this weekend, knowing you have to play your best to win at this type of event, knowing you have to get better?
I guess I don't like that wording the way I wouldn't say that to them, like you have to do anything. It's the journey, it's the process. We could end up losing 2 or 3 games this weekend, and we're still gonna be okay. We play over 60 games, so I don't want them to feel that kind of pressure. I want them to learn how to play free and confident and not worry about the outcomes, because that's the problem. That's where problems come in, is when you're afraid, oh my gosh, they're up by 4 and it's already in the 4th inning, oh my goodness. Just continue to stay on track in the way we do things. That's what's important, is that we don't change what we do, because what we're doing usually is good enough. So there's no panic, and there's no, like, we have to do anything. We don't have to until we get down to the very end, and if you don't, then you're going home, so it's just staying with that mindset that we've had, just staying calm and continuing to grow and improve and listen and learn.
One of the players we've talked about quite a bit in the offseason was Kenzie Hansen, having a bounce back year. Is she any closer to a return at this point?
She is, yeah. I think you'll see her this weekend a bit, not catching every game, but you'll see her in a uniform and likely on the field.
How much will that just boost you, getting her experience back into the lineup?
Yeah, it'll help. But you could feel her not in the lineup last weekend. So our team recognized it. She did a good job trying to stay very vocal, but there's just a presence that she has that also exudes confidence. And if you have all of that, you can pretty much play any position. And it's interesting, because about every position you look at, even Jada Coleman was a shortstop, but Brito, Alina Torres was a shortstop. So shortstops to me can do just about anything.
Is it somewhat a Swiss Army knife type of player that you find there, that has the mental, the physical, kind of all of the tools?
Yeah, I just believe you have to be a leader. And maybe, like, I don't think of Grace Lyons as very vocal, but her play gets her instant respect, and I think that's what the shortstop position, it's kind of like there's 2 positions, 3, catcher, shortstop, center field. But shortstops really are the captain and the leader of the infield for the most part. And they're just always pretty elite athletes.
Have you always gone after, even if you've had somebody you knew was probably gonna be your shortstop, have you always?
Always.
I thought so. But
and they get here and they don't necessarily like it. But I never promise anybody, you will be our starting shortstop, because I can't guarantee anything. And you know what? When they get to college, they just want to play. They don't care where they play. They just want to get in the lineup. And Jada Coleman is a good example of someone that the question kept like, are you going to give me a chance? Are you going to give me a chance? And you put her next to Grace Lyons, and she's like, oh, I'll try center field. I'm good. Let me just feel that out. And then she's able to rob home runs, and it's like the greatest position of all time. So it's just, you know, they get to recognize at college level what they have to be, and you have to be like, to play short in college, you have to be pretty elite. And if you're not, the ball usually finds you pretty easily. So, I'll have a lot of people up for it next year.
Patty, you mentioned Jordy as a player going from freshman to sophomore year, that sophomore year you kind of have to find yourself. You mentioned Jocelyn, kind of like that too. How do you kind of approach that just as a coaching staff? How much is that something you can guide someone like Jordy through, or how much is that something she kind of has to feel out on her own?
Jordy's a very mature young lady, and we talk a lot, and it's her journey, and we talk and we share, and she tells us how she feels. She's very close with Coach Rocha as well, so there's a lot of conversation. I know that she's been answering questions about, like, you don't look the same and things like that. I mean, it's growth. Like every year, you know, you're finding a new way to do something, or the feeling's different, so I need to try this. I mean, she is creating that, and I see that it's starting to really, it's gonna start really blossoming. I know that, I feel it. So I'm just we're along to guide her or help her, but this is within her. It's in her is how she's gonna approach this.
You mentioned how for several players it's still learning experience playing within this program, and kind of the mental side of why the loss might have happened, but just coming into a road weekend like you've got coming up, how does that play into all of that? Is it kind of another test for them, or do you see it as an opportunity to get better in that department?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, it's definitely going to be a test because we've got good competition, so we're going to have to play well, pitch well, hit well, but they understand there's a lot of growth that needs to happen, and you know, we've had this program might seem like it has a lot of returners, which it does, but there were some pretty significant players that we've lost, and I think of one that was just so much in charge and as a leader was Lindsay Elam, and I don't know that you can build or make natural leaders, so it's kind of a committee of athletes this year that are trying to help in that place. And we're feeling that out, but Grace Lyons is the one that we depend on. And we all understand that this is a journey. It's just a journey, and it's so much different than it was last year. I'm gonna tell you that already. I know this team is good, but are they out hitting 100 home runs right now? No, but we've been in positions where, you know, they understand we're facing drop ball pitchers, the fences are further, the wind is coming in. Like, it's not about the home runs, finding ways to string things together and learn from it. So, you know, we're not looking at last year. It's so much different, it really is. And so, in many ways it can be better, but it's just still learning the system offensively, JT's style, my style. We've played against each other, that's one thing, but now we're all in one dugout, and it's just different, and they're just trying to understand it, learn it, all of that. But I am not sitting in front of you worried at all. I am more than anything very excited about the future and the direction that we're going.
Patty, what about the competition you're gonna face? It's pretty intense.
It's good. And that's good. This is good for us, because last year, I mean, you guys remember run rule, and loss of innings. So now my future gets work. Our pitching staff gets innings. I think that's all good, but the feeling that pressure early is important, and we felt it our first weekend. And we did not play very well, and we found ways to win. That is something I felt very good about, confident in. And the fact that we would be playing our best softball right now would be very worrisome for me. We are a team that starts okay, but we are notorious for finishing with our best. And that's what I know who we are, and so I don't, personally, we're right where we need to be.
You have to face Utah again, you know, we know the family
Oh,
attraction
geez.
tape, yes. You know, so, you know, UCLA is now number
Yeah.
one, you know, so
Yeah.
talk about some of the matchups you got out there.
They're tough. They're tough. Utah's very good pitching, an average hitting coach there. That might be a problem for them. I'm kidding. It's tough. Fullerton just beat Tennessee. I mean, there's good competition up and down. And what I'm really gonna sit back and pay attention to is the camaraderie and the fight of our team. And against Baylor, it was kind of that ho-hum kind of attitude that is just unlike us. So I'm glad we got to see what that looked like. But we've had some powwows. This team has figured some things out. They're ready to go into Palm Springs with a new approach, just a little more feisty, more, they use the word, like emptying the gas tank out there and just letting it all flow and go, and so that's what I'm anxious to see.
Patty, can you talk a little bit about Alyssa's swings? I mean, 8 extra base hits, she finally hit a single. But is it night and day also, because last year she's looking for her role, looking where she fit on
Yeah.
this team compared to day one starter and where she's at now?
Yeah, she's gritty. I really have been impressed with her in the fall and in the spring thus far, where she is just really excelling at her craft. She has really turned into a smart hitter, understands what she wants to swing at, timely hitter, clutch hitter, and yeah, she's locking it in the middle of the lineup. And a good example of what extra work in the indoor looks like. She puts in the time and it's paying off.
Santa Cora, okay?
No, she is not, so I might as well. She is going to take a medical. She has some back issues that's going to cause surgery. I mean, she's been in constant pain, and it's hard to watch an athlete in that space. So 1st of March that will happen, and not expecting her to be back. I mean, she could potentially towards the end of the season, but I would rather save that
So you
year
would
for her.
sure.
Yeah.
I admire her athletic ability even more than
Yeah.
she was playing.
This has been going on for a long time, so, I think she didn't wanna make the decision, but she made it, and I 100% support it.
So Hodge becomes the main pinch runner now, or?
Hodge, yeah, I mean, I still got lots of really good options out there. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Patty.